Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalam ala rasulillah. So today's gathering is going to be orientation for the new members, review for the older members. This is going to be kind of the agenda breakdown for what we're going to go through. Inshallah, we should be done in about an hour. First thing is reviewing the mission for the Muhsineen. Second will be kind of introductions. Third, we'll be reviewing some of the successes of the Muhsineen up to this point. The fourth will be work groups. I'm going to give a lot more detail on that. The fifth will be reviewing attendance. This is going to be for current members, obviously, not the new members yet. Sixth will be introducing the Khidmah service project with Khidmah, and then kind of final words and takeaways. All right, so the mission for the Muhsineen, the new members, I've sat down with you guys, kind of broken down the three main goals of the Muhsineen. But just to review, the first mission of the Muhsineen is to ensure that the men of our generation, our age group, which our age group ranges from college students, 17, 18, to brothers in their 30s, including myself now, and some other brothers. The first goal is to make sure that we're all on the same page when it comes to a fundamental understanding of our aqidah as Muslims, to understand and to pursue fulfilling our fard ayn, so fard ayn being individual obligations, as well as to learn about the different fard kifaya that we can fulfill for our community. So that's the first goal. The second goal is the Muhsineen as a gathering of men of our age group, of our generation, is to develop ourselves holistically to attain ihsan, excellence, in all parts of our lives. Keep in mind, the deen is not, you don't translate it as religion where it's just something separate from your personal life, your career, your education. It all comes together as Muslims. A deen is a way of life, right? So we're coming together to gain knowledge, to develop ourselves, to be physically fit, to be able to provide for ourselves. And some of us are married, some of us are not. To provide for ourselves, for our families, to give back to the community. We're all working together on that second goal, and the work group that I'm going to mention later really builds into the second part of our mission. The third part of our mission is that we all are working for the sake of Allah, and that's going to ensure that as we get older, as we take on more responsibility within the Muslim community, we're all on the same page. We're not competing with one another. We're not discriminating against one another. We're all working fi sabilillah. Some of us may end up becoming teachers at some of the Islamic schools. Some of us may end up being asked to take on a role in caretaking the masajid. The aim with this third goal is that no matter Amar, Asad, Mahad, Matthew, you guys need help, we're all going to work together. We're not going to be separate, competing, letting our nafs, make it to where we're not working together. I'm not going to get into specific situations, but we know in our community today there are instances where some of the masajid don't work together. Some of the institutions don't work together. This is terrible, but we're playing the long game, because if we're all working together, building each other up, then when that baton is passed from the older generation to ours, Hira needs help, let's help them. GLIC, Westport, Al-Noor needs help, let's help them. We're not competing with one another, we're on the same. We all know that we have the same goal in mind. And that's that bond of brotherhood that goes beyond just hanging out, playing basketball, grabbing pizza, which once again, that's fair and fine, but we're going beyond that and ensuring that when we start to take on more responsibilities in the community, we're not going to see each other as adversaries, but we're going to see each other as comrades or companions, however you want to put it, whatever word you want to use, but we all have that same goal, fi sabilillah. Okay, I know we're kind of facing here, but we can start to turn and face one another. We're going to do, I'm calling it introductions. You can think of it as an icebreaker, whatever. But I want, starting this week, and obviously throughout our gatherings, I want each and every one of you to get to know one another. I know some of you guys might know each other from, oh, we go to the same masjid, or oh, we're at U of L, so on and so forth. But I want each and every one of you to introduce yourselves. What is your name? What masjid? What neighborhood have you grown up in? And if you're an old member, what has been an impactful workshop so far? And if you're a new member, what part of our mission resonates with you? I'm going to start on my right with Mahad.
My name is Mahad Muhammad.
Assalamu alaikum.
Mostly I grew up in the U of L area, Church Downs area. I've been to a small masjid, Hassan Fazaz. I think the most impactful workshop has been the workshop where we learned how to do the maid, the cleaning.
The ghusl mayat, the washing the deceased.
Washing the deceased. That's been really impactful.
Jazakallah khair. Matthew?
My name is Matthew Bahira. Not my real last name. That's my choice. Muslim name on the end there. But I grew up in Owensboro, about 2 hours west of here. I grew up on a tobacco farm. I live in Highlands right now. Trying to find a house and stuff. That's a story about it. I can't really pick a specific workshop just because most of them are really impactful for me because it's really been what's been most important for me is just getting inundated with knowledge that I do not have as like a revert who's kind of a loner and doesn't like to spend a lot of time with people. Again, it's really impactful as me learning the ins and outs of the deep.
MashaAllah. Jazakallah khair. Majd?
Assalamu alaikum, I'm Majd. I grew up in the Zorn area, so I went to River Road a lot, as well as Westport. And when I was at U of L, I went to Masjid Nur often as well. So alhamdulillah, I think I've kind of been around to a lot of the masajid. And I'm a new member, so I think what resonates to me most about this is the getting on the same page as the whole community. So everyone, regardless of masjid or where you're from, having that same common goal, retaining that ihsan.
MashaAllah. Jazakallah khair. Mu'in?
Assalamu alaikum, my name is Muhsineen. I live around the Westport Road area, and I would go to Westport Masjid a lot. I'm a new member, and part of the mission that resonates with me the most is fulfilling the obligation of passing on the torch of fulfilling the Fard Kifaya and Fard for the community.
Ahmed and then Adam.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Ahmed Khalifa. I grew up around Churchill Downs area, so I go to Masjid Nur a lot. Some people might know me from U of L too. I'm a new member, and what resonates with me most is learning the Fard Kifaya. What really brought my attention was like learning how to do the biha. It's just something I've always been interested in, and that's why I'm here.
MashaAllah. Jazakallah khair. Adam? Wa alaikum salam.
My neighbor Masjid is also 4th Street, and what resonated with me the most is one of joy is to have a group of brothers that are also devoting themselves to improving themselves. So I think it's a really good gathering to be part of.
Jazakallah khair. Anwar?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
My name is Anwar. I live close to 6 miles from
local here. So I'm focusing on work there. One thing that has really impacted me this program is the cleanup that we do at least once a month radio. We cut down trees, clear up some space, and it really resonates because and every time you do it, it's like maybe I'm clearing up my own space. It kind of keeps you locked in what's really important in life. And so yeah, that's one of the things that really resonates. Among other things, that's really beneficial program we have going on here. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because we're sincere, accept from us.
آمين. جزاك الله خيرا. محمود.
السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام.
Mahmoud, new member. I'm around I go to Westwood Masjid. One thing that really resonated with my friends that you said, we playing the long game with and trying to connect and set it together by doing so. Inshallah, one day maybe I want to be in your through this program. I want to be in the business. I think it's really beautiful.
جزاك الله خير. جنيد and then Abid. وعليكم السلام.
I've been aware of this for about 6 months now. Some of the workshops that I've been performing are social matters because I recently got married, and that was something that really helped me understand how to what how I can
إن شاء الله. جزاك الله خيرا. عبيد.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Reza. I live around here, so my mission is this one right here. One mission that resonates with me is seeing new people and learning from them, helping each other out.
جزاك الله خير.
Assalamu alaikum, my name is Logan. I go to the 4th Street Masjid all the time because it's closer. I live in Indiana, so it's the closest one to me. But what really resonates with me the most, or has been the most impactful workshop, was going to the graveyard. And I think what's more important than that is almost just like working together because, I don't come from I'm a revert, so I don't come from a big religious background, but I see a lot in in churches and stuff. Like you have churches where certain people go to this church, certain people go to this church and that church. But I think everybody should contribute.
جزاك الله خير.
Sorry, folks. My name's Ammar. I'm glad to be a neighbor to this masjid. So this is where I grew up in for a good solid chunk of my life. I would say that one aspect that this Muhsineen group has really resonated with me is that we're able to give a helping hand, not only being with one another, but also sharing knowledge. And whatever one person lacks, the other one will be able to provide. And I think that's very wonderful, especially in making sure that we're all working and bettering ourselves. I think that's a lovely thing.
جزاك الله خير.
Assalamu alaikum everyone, my name is Asad, and one of the things that I like about our workshop is that you increase your faith and you become stronger and have more iman. At the end of the week, when we all come together, you form a stronger bond, and you get to help out other people.
جزاك الله خيرا. I know a lot of you guys know me. My name is Hamza Foy. I grew up really all over the city. So at one time I literally lived across the street from 4th Street Noor. At one time I lived in Highview. Now I live not too far from this masjid. So typically I'm going here, sometimes to Hira, sometimes to Westport, 4th Street, so on. That third goal for me kind of came out of what I saw when I used to be on the board of one of the masjids here in Louisville, was a need to ensure that to the best of our ability to get all of us on the same page, that whether we're caretaking a masjid, whether we're donating to an Islamic school, even if you're just a member of the community throughout your life, we all should have that same mindset and that same goal in mind, to where we're not competing with one another, but rather we're doing everything fi sabilillah, whether it's our personal obligations, whether it's taking care of the communal obligations. We should all be on the same page, not view each other with aversion, with a sense of competition. We all, and so I'm playing the long game. That's what I always describe it when people ask me, playing the long game, because it's going to be easier to affect the younger generation and get them on the same page, to where when that baton is passed to us by our elders, we're not viewing each other, through the nafs. We're not, being egotistical. We're like, okay, whether it's, this school, this masjid, this family, I'm going to, to the best of my ability, help them, help the community. So that's a goal that's always stuck with me. In terms of an impactful workshop, the Ghusl Mayyit workshop has been the most impactful, and we're about to get into why. So I want to start off by reviewing successes of the Muhsineen, right? We should always approach, each week we should always approach things by balancing the good that we've seen with constructive criticism on how we should improve. So, alhamdulillah, some of our past successes have been that members of our gathering have achieved, success in either learning the Arabic, alphabet to the point where they can read from the Mus'haf, whether it's Quran memorization. Part of the Muhsineen, and we'll get into it in the next slide, is we have a program kind of internally where we recognize a certain goal that we know we're deficient in, and we're working towards, basically building up and developing ourselves to where we no longer have a deficiency. So I'll use myself as an example. Up until recently, and it's unfortunate, I've been Muslim I'm about to turn 31, took my Shahada when I was 13, 14. So been Muslim for 17, 18 years. It wasn't until last year I started taking seriously fluency in Arabic. Now, at a young age, I learned how to read the Mus'haf, but I basically just parked it there and didn't develop after that. It wasn't until last year with the Muhsineen, with a couple of the brothers, Matthew, Muhammad, who's not here, we sat down, we said, okay, we're gonna basically develop ourselves outside of where we kind of parked at. So, alhamdulillah, some of the brothers, they've learned the Arabic alphabet. Some brothers are learning to be, to at least get a general translation of the Quran on their own. Some brothers have memorized Quran. The second bullet is why the Ghusl Mayyit workshop has been the most impactful in my view. Over the past year, the majority of Ghusl Mayyit for men has either been led by one of our members, or one of our members has assisted with the washing. Over the past year, I would say 90% has either been led by one of us, or some of our members have helped out with the washing. The Ghusl Mayyit is a big Fard Kifaya. And the thing about Fard Kifaya is, so long as some members fulfill that responsibility, the gravity of it is lifted off of the community. But if nobody does it, then on Yawm al-Qiyamah we may be asked about it, why we didn't. So alhamdulillah, that second bullet is I starred that circlet. It's been phenomenal to see. The third bullet, and this is what Anwar was mentioning, so we have an Islamic cemetery here in Louisville, the one on Fagenbush. For the past couple of months, we have gone there repeatedly to help clear the woodlands that's on the back of their property, so that they can then go in and demarcate the grave plots. The board at the Greenhaven Cemetery, they've been profusely thanking us for that work. Obviously, it's not done, but even just as much as we've done so far has been tremendously helpful to them. The fourth bullet, which is recent, and some of you guys, especially the new members, were nominated based on your helping. The last Eid Carnival, they had at the waterfront park. So the Muhsineen were asked to put together a security team, and alhamdulillah, out of all of the, the good and the bad, the critiques, the security team has been the one that all of the masajid said, okay, that went smoothly. That went, mashallah, very well. We had over 3,100 members of the community come out to that event. Alhamdulillah. The last bullet, which is kind of a funny one. Some of you guys, especially the new members, probably didn't know about the Muhsineen until you were contacted about it. You were nominated. So the Muhsineen started almost 2 years ago. It wasn't until recently that we put together a social media presence, right? Because once again, our intention, with the social media, our intention is just to make things available to the public. So like you'll see, if you go to the YouTube, you'll see the Ghusl Mayyit workshop. A couple of our workshops have been recorded. Once again, we're not trying to market the Muhsineen. It's not a business, but it's just for the sake of, hey, we have this knowledge available for people to reference. Alhamdulillah, a couple of members of our group kind of formed a design team, and we have that kind of structured, well-formatted presence on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. So that's been some of our past successes, alhamdulillah. Okay, so old members and new members, I want us to kind of follow along with this. So part of Muhsineen since its inception has been this kind of internal program where each member identifies some sort of deficiency they have. It may be Arabic fluency, the amount of Quran they have memorized, might be to do with their physical conditioning. Basically, they're identifying a deficiency. And when we first started the Muhsineen, what we did was, because we started small, about I think 10, 11 members about. What we did was, okay, each member, so like Asad and Amar, okay, identify a goal that you want to work on. Okay, you two are paired together. You're going to hold each other accountable, check in weekly to see, okay, maybe Asad, theoretically, I want to learn how to read the Quran. Like, I don't even know the alphabet, for example. Okay, so Amar is going to check in on you weekly. Hey, how's progress going? It then kind of evolved because there were certain goals that a lot of people had. The Arabic fluency was a big one. Like I said, we started almost 2 years ago. Since that almost 2-year mark, we've had an Arabic fluency kind of group together that have met every Sunday before Dhuhr. Now that we are getting, larger in size, we have about 34 members currently. It's becoming a little difficult to keep track of, okay, if people are like literally pairs, because half of 34 is 17. So you would have 17. If we were still running with that system, that pair system, you'd have 17 groups, and keeping track of that is going to be a little hectic. So now what we have decided is we're going to have, we call them work groups. It's just a noun used to refer to, there's going to be these 5 work groups, and they are kind of general in theme. So for example, Arabic fluency, I might be learning the alphabet, but Ahmed here might, he may want to learn how to not interpret, but basically translate the Quran. But once again, it falls under that kind of umbrella. So we're going to have these work groups that what I want you guys today until next Sunday to consider is which of these 5 work groups do you think answers some sort of deficiency that you have that you need to work on. So I'm going to go through the work groups. So Arabic fluency, once again, that can range from I don't even know the alphabet to I want to be able to, translate and understand the Quran or scholarly texts in the native Arabic. The second one is going to be Quran memorization. So for example, I know some of the masajid, each Ramadan, they have difficulty having somebody lead the tarawih. And you may have it, in your heart that I want to be able to memorize more Quran to where I can help those masajid. That would be the work group to join, that second one. The third work group is going to be Tadabbur and Tafsir. So memorization may be part of it, but it's going to be more about reflecting, more about, basically executing what you learn from the Quran, that third work group. The fourth work group is going to be physical conditioning. So for example, I feel like one of my deficiencies is, I need to lose weight or I need to become healthier. You may have like a health issue that that you need to kind of focus on. That fourth work group is, that's the one to join. The fifth work group is Khidmah service. This work group is going to have a very kind of special task, and this work group is going to find service projects for us to work on. And in fact, towards the end of this orientation, I actually have a service project that if you join the Khidmah work group, you're going to be working on. Each work group is going to have a group lead. I'm going to determine the group lead. It's not out of favoritism, but it's because I need to, essentially the group lead is going to keep track of members' progress. Very important to keep in mind. You join a work group, you got, let's say, 5, 6 brothers. The group lead will be selected. That group lead will try to find a day and a time, even if it's 30 minutes after Salah one day, for all members to join and basically work towards that goal. So, for example, the Arabic fluency, which continues to this day, the members that are in the Arabic fluency group, you're going to stay in that work group. So Logan, Matthew, Muhammad, Rami, and Abdurrahman, and myself, we're going to be Arabic fluency. So that, now, obviously, especially for new members, if you want to join that group, you're welcome to, but just to let those guys know, we've got our work group. But we meet every Sunday before Dhuhr, and we're learning some like ibarat, like expressions. We're learning a little bit of conversational Arabic. There's some weeks we'll go through a surah in the Quran, and we'll work on translating it. Physical conditioning work group, for example, you might meet for 30 or 45 minutes and play soccer one week. Do something that, once again, you're working towards that physical conditioning. Okay? By next Sunday, so Sunday, July 14th, let me know, either in person when we see each other, or you can send it to me on WhatsApp, what work group you want to join. Okay? Are we clear on that? Okay. All right, this is for the current, for the older members. New members, feel free to follow along, but this is for the current members. All right. I track attendance for every Sunday gathering that's after Dhuhr. There's, that 5 to 10% of gatherings that might be outside of, either like on a Friday, Saturday, or it might be Sunday morning. I don't track that attendance. I track the Sundays after Dhuhr. Currently, all members combined to 25, so sans the new members, without the new members, we are at 63.43%. I know for sure we can do a lot better. All right? I want that to be at least 75% and above. All right? Now, the last time we had kind of this feedback meeting about attendance, if you traveled during winter break, I didn't even account for it. I didn't put that in the calculation. All right? I know we can get this at least 75%. The mentality we need to have is this is not a hangout. This is not, oh, I'm chilling here. I have nothing to do on my Sunday. Let me go. No. Okay? And I told a lot of the new members this. That second part of the mission is also about maturing ourselves psychologically as men. Right? Now, when we were kids, yes, everything's play, enjoyment. Let's hang out. Let's go play ball. Okay, that's when we were kids. But we're not. And psychologically, we need to mature to that point where we identify the things that we take seriously, and we push ourselves to always fulfill that. So, for example, the salah. I mean, once you reach the age of maturity, the angels are writing. It doesn't matter if, well, my parents spoiled me. Angels still writing. Now, once again, I'm not saying this is the same as salah, but the mentality is that we take our gatherings seriously. We are looking to develop ourselves. We're leaving behind the childhood and we're entering manhood psychologically. I'm going to take this seriously, and I'm going to make each gathering, obviously if there's circumstances, the family's traveling, you're out of country, the one thing I ask is that you let me know directly. Not an hour into the gathering. I shouldn't be getting a message from you 3 p.m. on a Sunday. Hey man, my bad, I was traveling. No, come on now. Once again, because I'm going to treat everybody like men. Let me know, let's say you're heading out on a Friday, coming back on a Monday. Just let me know Friday, no problem. Now, out of the 25 members, 15 have 66.6% and above attendance, which is good. I like that out of the 25. And 6 members with 50% or below. Those of you who are current members, you guys have seen names removed from the group chat. Once again, it's not to embarrass them, but especially if I sat with you, told you the mission, asked you, hey, Sundays after Dhuhr, good time for you? Yes, Hamza. Okay, you gave me your word. Now you don't show up, but like 25% of the time, and you gave me your word. Come on. That's a terrible look. So, on the WhatsApp group, you're gonna, especially for the new members, current members know about this. Sunday mornings, you're always gonna see a poll pop up in the group chat. Please hit, yes, I'm there. No, I'm not, because that's how I'm determining the attendance. Now, when we had fewer members, it's easier for me to remember, so-and-so forgot to hit the button, but I saw him that day. But as we get more in number, I'm getting early Alzheimer's. Don't do that to me, because it's going to be hard for me to remember. All right? Please, and matter of fact, get your phone out. If you haven't already, hit the yes, I'm here. Please. All right? For the Muhsineen, we have 2 windows that members will join in. The first window is July, so the new members you have joined. The second window is December. So from now until December, new members, remember to fill out that poll. Because once again, it's going to be recalculated in December when new members join and we do the same orientation, okay? Are we clear on this? Any questions? Good? Okay. We're almost done. So I mentioned those 5 work groups, and I mentioned by next Sunday, please let me know which work group you want to join, whether it's in person on Sunday or on WhatsApp. Either or is fine. The members who will join the Khidmah work group, Alhamdulillah, I've had some really fruitful discussions with Mufti Atif Iqbal of Hira, and some of you guys may already be aware, but currently Hira does, they feed the homeless on Fridays after Jumu'ah, and he's offered up this kind of second service project for us to collaborate with Hira on, and that project is a donation closet which will be at Hira. And the donation closet, so basically think of it as like a Muslim Goodwill, just closed though. It's going to be centered at Hira, but the idea is that we're going to have these wooden deposit bins at each masajid in the city. The clothes that are durable, that are good condition, we will facilitate and keep it in the donation closet at Hira. Those clothes that are in bad condition, Mufti Atif has a brother who, mashallah, he has some sort of technique on recycling like the denim, polyester, all that, and like selling the recycled material to basically kind of keep this funded. So the Khidmah project will be in working with Mufti Atif, come to an agreement on like what hours members of the Khidmah work group can come there, organize clothes. We'll try to, we'll set aside however many days we need to get all of the members together to put together these types of deposit bins. So I know, like for myself, I've got quite a bit of like woodworking experience. I'm happy to teach everybody how to use a table saw, how to use hammer and nails, put that stuff together. But the Khidmah work group, they're going to be basically our point of contact between Mufti Atif and the Muhsineen. I think it's a wonderful project. I'm excited to get it started. The reason I'm putting the responsibility on the Khidmah work group is, once again, developing ourselves into competent Muslim men who can go out and work for the community. So I'm going to give a shout out, although I may not like it. Shout out to Mahed. Mahed helped tremendously with putting the security team together for the Eid Carnival. Once again, it's not Hamza did it. No. Most of the work was Mahed. And it's, once again, putting our men in positions where they're developing themselves. Because that's one thing that I notice is you give a man a task, he's going to want to push himself to do it. We're not going to have like a personality cult where it's just like one person in the group does all the work. No. We're going to develop ourselves to where we're all competent, all able to manage a project like this, inshallah. All right. Final words, takeaways, and then we are complete. I'll get to the first one in a second, but the second bullet, once again, by Sunday, this next Sunday, July 14th, whether you're sending it to me on WhatsApp or letting me know in person, either or is fine, let me know what work group you want to join. Those who are already in the Arabic work group, you're already in the Arabic work group, you're good. The first bullet, if you saw the calendar that I shared in the WhatsApp, the third week of July, we're going to have a workshop taught by Brother Khalid Mashal, and I think some of you guys may know him. He helps a lot of the masajid with like their audio equipment and stuff like that. He's actually an AI engineer, and he's interested in teaching a very basic workshop on AI, like how it works, but he's more interested in answering questions that you may have. And once again, this kind of technology may affect you in different ways. You may have different thoughts on it. Bring all those questions. All right? This is not going to be a lecture. This is going to be a discussion that he wants to lead. So please come with questions on the 21st. This third bullet, alhamdulillah, the Muhsineen, we've been going since almost 2 years now. One of the things that some brothers recommended is making a directory to where, let's say, for example, I'm going to use you, Matt, as an example. You're an electrician. You may need an electrician. Go through the Muhsineen directory, you'll find out, hey, we have an electrician in the group. Some of us might be, web developers, software developers. You need something developed, or you need at least advice, hey, go through the directory. It's a resource for us to use so that, we're better connected, we better know each other beyond just like first name basis. So I'm going to send out a form either today or tomorrow, very quick form. We'll take all of maybe 30 seconds. Please fill it out so I can build that directory of the current members. And kind of a side project, there have been some brothers that have recommended having a website for the Muhsineen. If you have any experience or interest in web development, reach out to me. All right. Before we say the dua to end the gathering, are there any questions?
Add something.
Mm-hmm.
Bismillah. About to mention, maybe we can talk about it. Sometimes we're doing things outside that require some funding. And we have this, Sadaqah program that we do monthly.
Okay, thank you for reminding me. So each month, we ask that brothers pitch in $10 each month. Now, once again, if there's difficulty in that, reach out to me privately. But the premise is we each pitch in $10. The intention is this is sadaqah to finance certain workshops that we have. So, for example, the Dabiha workshop, we had to buy the sheep to learn how to slaughter, right? Instead of, one person dishing out all the money, guess what? We have the sadaqah fund that funded all that. So each month, in the beginning of the month, we ask if you can contribute $10. We're using Anwar's Cash App because we also want to be transparent about, this is what's coming in, this is the expenditure, and we basically bookkeep that. For the sake of if anybody's ever curious, ask us. We'll show you, what's coming in and how it's being spent. But it's being spent to finance certain of the workshops that do require money. Okay. So with this being the month of July, this is a reminder both for new members and current members, and I'll send a reminder in the WhatsApp as well to send your sadaqah contribution to Anwar. The premise being that each penny that's spent from that sadaqah fund, inshallah, it will be hasanat for you on Yom Qiyamah, because it's going towards that continued education of our group. All right. Have I forgotten anything else? Are we good? Okay. All right. So we try to, as often as possible, to incorporate the dua for ending our gatherings. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu alayk. Jazakallah khairan. If you guys want to stick around, chit chat, if you have any questions that you want to ask me personally, now's the time to do so. Jazakallah khairan. Thank you guys.